Hello there, I'm Bill Barney, and welcome to today's episode. And today I'd like to talk about abuse, kind of a heavy subject, but I want to talk about the three essential components in healing from abuse. Now, abuse can take many forms. Many times, and most of the time, we tend to think sexual abuse when we talk about abuse. But it could be physical abuse, emotional, mental abuse, torture of different kinds. All of these things they just take such a large portion, a chunk out of our soul. They rob from a person so many essential things. And there are ways to heal from that. Before I get into all that, I'd like you to invite you to go to www.allthingspossible.biz and join our community where you can get free gifts. And we put out new topics every week. There's a lot of information there. And you can go there and learn so many things for self-improvement, healing, personal development from my wife. So many aspects of life that we like to share the things that we have learned with you. So join our community. We'd love to see you there. Back to the topic. Many times when someone has been abused, it's that they suffer in silence, and it's shameful to talk about. Many times it's embarrassing. It's just really hard to share and talk about, and so many people just suffer in silence and never get help, and it's like a cancer that eats away inside. What I can tell you, if that has been your approach to this, it will not go away. You may be able to stuff it to where you don't think about it every day or every moment. Maybe you can even go a couple of weeks or longer without thinking about it, but then something will trigger and all of that pain comes back. And I kind of liken this to if somebody was to drop a dirty diaper in the bottom of your garbage can. All right, and that's nasty, and so you can stuff all this garbage on top of it. But whenever it's time to clean out the garbage, you only want to dig down so far because you know there's something nasty down there and you don't want to deal with it, so you try to stuff it. But obviously that's just going to continue to stink and smell things up and be a problem until you finally put on the nose plugs or the face mask, the rubber gloves, reach in and clean that out and get it out. Do the work it is necessary to clean that out, because it will not go away. This emotional pain and the trauma from abuse will not go away. I've seen it over and over again. We can stuff it, we can deceive ourselves, but it stays there. And then many times I've talked with people. I've helped a lot of people heal from abuse who have been to years of therapy, and quite often I hear the statement, "Well, I've done a lot of work. I've done all the work I can, and I've just come to accept the fact that I'm going to have to live with a lot of this stuff for the rest of my life." And that is not the way you have to live. I've seen this over and over again with the clients and the people that I've helped heal from abuse, that you can be free, that it can be just a part of your past but not a painful part. You can remember the pain, but you no longer feel it in your present moment. So until we deal with and heal from the traumas of the past, the pain will stay part of our present. So I talked about three essential, we're going to make this just quick, three essential components to healing from abuse. This is a little bit different approach than I take maybe than you've seen in conventional therapy and counseling. And I'll just highlight these really quick. The first step is to heal from the pain. The second is absolute and complete forgiveness. And the third is healing the spirit. Let's start with step one, healing the pain. What does it take to do that? The first thing is I do not believe in having the person tell the story of everything that has happened and the details of it. I haven't found it necessary. In fact, many times I find that in the retelling of the details on all the things that happened, it creates a new trauma, and every time you tell about it, you're traumatized again. And I haven't found that to be helpful. What I do as an energy worker, a practitioner of energy medicine, I have many different processes that I use that I ask the person most of the time just three basic questions. Do you remember when it happened? How old you were when it happened? Do you know who did it. You know the name of the person, and even if they don't know the name of the person or can't remember, that's okay too. And then I ask them where it happened. Example, in the basement on vacation at the babysitter's house, something like that. Not that I need to know, but for someone who has been really good at stuffing these emotions and these feelings down over the years, as just I ask them those questions, all that stuff starts to come up within them. Now, I don't need to know the details, but I wanted to be able to feel those emotions, and then we can go through these processes and release them quickly. I literally have had many, many clients just after a half-hour session, sometimes of their first hour session, say to me, I've done more healing work today than I have in many years of therapy. I've seen this happen over and over again. So the first thing is to heal the pain. And how do you know if you still have pain? Think about what happened and notice the emotions that come up. If you start feeling sad, angry, hurt, any negative emotion that you may feel about the event tells you that you're carrying pain. And so you want to heal that. When that pain is healed, and I know this can be really hard to even fathom possible, when that pain is healed, you can think back on it and say, yes, this happened to me, but, and you just go right on. You might as well be talking about any other event in your life, the summer vacation you had when you were 8 years old, whatever. You can tell it without getting all emotional about it because you're no longer carrying the pain. And when you don't carry the pain anymore, it's not trying to bubble up all the time, just like that stinky diaper. You know, you always can tell there's something there. It's not trying to come up all the time. There's nothing to stuff down or push back because we got it up, got it out, and we healed it. So, and that is not a long drawn out process. Most of the time within 1 or 2 sessions, the client will tell me that, yeah, the emotional pain is gone. I'm okay with that now. It doesn't mean that what happened was okay. It means that they are at peace within themselves. What would it be like to feel that peace within yourselves? Can you imagine that if you've been through this and you're still in the process? It seems like peace is something that's been robbed from you for the rest of your life, and I can tell you that that is not the case, that you can regain that by going through a healing process. So the second step is complete and absolute forgiveness, the second component to healing. And I have just seen people who suffered for many, many years, who've tried everything they can to forgive and let go and put the past behind them. And it can be a very difficult thing to do, especially in instances of someone who has abused you. That is why I wrote this book, Shine a Light Within, 5 Steps to Lighten Your Soul Through Forgiveness. See, that's my name right there. I did that. I say that because people that know me go, you wrote a book? And it might seem a little bit hard, but I put my heart and my soul into this because I could see the change in people's lives when they can completely let go and quit carrying the burden of the pain of what that other person did to them through the abuse or anything else in their life. Absolutely life-changing when you can totally forgive and let go. And again, that doesn't have to be a long drawn-out process. Most of the time, one session, I can help someone forgive even the worst things by walking them through the steps that are outlined in my book. And in an hour, it's completely different. And I've had many of those sessions start out with, I have no desire to forgive this person. As we start talking about it and the person realizes all the pain that they're feeling, they have a desire to let go of the pain. So forgiveness is a huge component in healing from abuse. Because as long as you're carrying it with you, you're carrying it with you. You've got to let it go. You've got to let all your negative feelings towards that person go. It doesn't mean that what they did was okay. It doesn't mean that they're excused from being responsible for what they did. It just means you're not going to carry their burden and their mistakes on your shoulders anymore. You're going to cut ties with them. And the third and final component is to heal the spirit. And there's a couple of components here. One is, I just mentioned cutting ties. There's energetic cords and ties that bind you to that person, and they can be very strong in cases of abuse. And you need to go through an energetic process to cut those ties And again, that is something that's simple. It happens quickly, but it's essential. If you don't cut those ties, it just feels like you're still bound to that person. And the other thing is in healing the spirit is there's an interesting, I don't know if you want to call it phenomenon. It's not a true phenomenon because it happens all the time, every time. It's a phenomenon in the sense that most people are not aware of it. And that is that when someone abuses you, through whatever forms, they're taking power from you. And they literally capture, without their conscious intent to capture a part of your spirit, they end up capturing a part of your spirit because they're taking your power. They're trying to take your decision and your choice from you. And that captures, and you lose a sense of yourself. You lose the part of the essence of who you are. I have a process called soul retrieval that I lead people through in the healing process, where we recapture and recover those lost parts of the spirit that have been lost due to abuse and other situations in the life. Totally makes a huge difference in your recovery and well-being and in getting on with your life afterwards. Yes, you can go to a therapist and feel good with it, but if you don't cut the cords, if you don't recover those parts of your spirit, if you don't heal the pain, and if you do not absolutely forgive, you haven't done all the healing that you can. And that's when I hear most often, I'm just going to have to live with this for the rest of my life because of what I've been through. But if you go through these steps and these processes, you don't. So whether you work with me or you find someone else who can help you through healing these things on these levels and these three components that I talked about, find someone who can help you. Find someone who you can trust and be willing to do the work. It is much simpler than you would think, and or much simpler than you might imagine. So I invite you to begin your healing journey, or if you've been on this journey for many years, to finish the journey and be able to put the past behind you. Hey, thanks for being here with me today. Again, as a reminder, why don't you go and head on over to our website, www.allthingspossible.biz, and join our community. We have many subjects on healing, personal development, and I'd love to see you there, and you'll get our weekly updates of our new topics that we're sharing every week. Thanks for being here. Have a blessed day, and blessings to you on your healing journey.